Hi, I'm Kitegirl Annabelle Drumm, and today we are interviewing Dana Mrkich, who is also here in Sydney, Australia. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Annabelle. Thanks for having me.
I'm very pleased you're here. Now, we have lots of psychics and mediums around in the world, and we kind of understand how they work, but you've written down as your skill as an energy intuitive. I'm wondering if you could tell us a bit more about what that is.
Well, it's always hard to find a name, I think, for this line of work, but the way I see it, an energy intuitive, or what I do anyway, is receiving information from people's energy fields, which, everyone has a different specialty. So a medium more specializes in talking to people on the other side. A psychic more focuses on, clairvoyance or, telling the future, although people aren't really doing that so much anymore because we're creating as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's receiving information from our various energy fields, which is our not only our physical body, our cellular body, etheric body, mental body, emotional body, our soul, ancestral history, all the non-physical, the non-physical parts of us that are co-creating our reality with us.
And does that, you talked about how the future changes as we go along, so a reading like that would cover where you're at the moment, is that right?
It very much covers where you're at the moment, how and why you've created what you've created, and what things you may possibly need to do or change or shift or transform in order to create the reality that you feel you want to go on, or that your soul is trying to get you to go along. So very often in life we tend to repeat certain patterns, whether they're patterns with relationships, patterns with health, patterns with money, finances, abundance. And sometimes we feel stuck, we feel blocked, we know what we want, we have a vision, we feel something calling us, but sometimes we just don't know quite how to get there. And I found that the answers to that most often lie in our non-physical energy bodies. So in our thoughts, our beliefs, our ancestral patterns, even the really exciting new field of epigenetics, which is a modern science new field of study, is proving, and it's just so exciting because it matches what everyone's saying in metaphysics, is proving that we actually carry in our genetic code the memories of what our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and so on went through. So it's just so amazing. So if they, for example, went through the Depression, our genetic code may well be genetically predisposed to worrying about money, worrying that we'll never have enough, which, as we now know with the mind-body link to how we create our reality, might result in constantly having issues with money, right? So if we aren't aware of those things, we're sort of walking along, potentially subconsciously, unconsciously sabotaging our dreams and desires. And so it's so beneficial for everyone to, understand or become more aware of what is going on in your energy fields, what's going on in your energy bodies.
Right. And I think the more people I talk to, the more I see there's this big question about, why am I stuck in this place? How am I? They can feel that it's not right and that it's not flowing beautifully, and that question is there. So I guess if we can find a place to get those answers, then that's a big relief, really. Absolutely. And, often it's in your childhood. And, I do believe that everybody can receive these answers for themselves. There are so many tools out there to help people. You can take yourself on meditation journeys. You can take yourself through journaling exercises, for example. But I often say it's often helpful to see somebody, whether it's an intuitive, whether it's a, NLP therapist, whoever it may be, whoever you resonate with. Sometimes it's helpful for you to, I always say it's like wiping your window clean. Yes. Sometimes we all need a little window cleaner helper to help us see clearer, and then we can take the next steps on our own. Yeah, I agree. Though I think the only thing I would add to that would be, rather than just having someone you resonate with, to make sure that the person who's wiping the window doesn't have a dirty sponge. Often you get people that they really want to help, and they do all their work around helping, but they've got so much baggage themselves that they can't quite wipe your window clean.
Absolutely, I agree with that 1000%. I actually have a story of when I first started out. So, we're talking nearly 20 years ago, and I was, young, 20 odd. And I remember, I remember I was at one of those festivals and hearing an older lady, I think she was a clairvoyant or a psychic or what have you, and she was giving a reading to someone, and it was quite
what I perceived as negative at the time. And I remember very consciously thinking back then, wow, you're actually projecting your stuff onto her. So I was very conscious from a young age, make sure that I'm as clean energetically as possible. So there's, you know, anytime that I tune into anybody for a session, there's a very specific thing that I say myself within myself to make sure that I'm accessing information from absolutely their highest, best possible place, so that I remove myself from it. And obviously I've done a lot of work, continue to do constantly, on keeping myself clean energetically, because it's very easy for people to give information intuitively, or even, you know, the average person on the street giving advice through your own lens of perception, through your own filters. Like you said, if it's a dirty window, you're going to give not the right information.
If you've got the dirty sponge. I agree.
Absolutely.
So have you got, before we move on to the next part, have you got like maybe a little quick process that each of us can use to sort of get us started on that energy intuitive skill?
Sure. Well, there's something that I say to myself every day, and I really recommend it for everybody, because that gets your window clean, so to speak. So something that I just start off with is just saying, you know, I'm filled with love, I'm surrounded by love, I'm protected by love, and I'm guided by love. And the reason that that's important is when we're all out and about, we're receiving, you know, psychic stuff, energetic stuff from everyone all the time, every single one of us. Out in the shopping mall, you know, you might come home with someone's, you know, depression energy or anger energy that they accidentally gave you at the bank or whatever. So that's a really good way just to keep yourself clean. Something else I say is I'm aligned with my best possible self, my best possible reality, and my best possible movement forward on all levels. And I actually go through them and I say physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, cellular, DNA, ancestral, etheric, and all the chakras.
Wow.
Okay, that sounds pretty, you know, maybe complicated, but once you just get used to it, it just becomes like brushing your teeth. And, you know, we make sure when we, you know, have a car, we make sure that everything gets checked in that car on a regular basis, right? We don't leave out the spark plugs or the tires. So too with us, you know, make sure that you are, you know, doing that to yourself as well. So before you know, if you have a question for yourself, I really recommend journaling. I've been doing that my whole life. It's absolutely powerful. And, you know, just write, what do I most need to know now, or what do I most need to know about your situation. But if you say those little affirmations that I just gave you before you do that, that will at least help to ensure that the information you're receiving for yourself, from yourself, is as clear and as clean as possible, as opposed to coming from your busy worries, your busy doubts, your busy fears.
Yeah, and you can always, I mean, well, you can't always, I guess. I find, even for myself, as I became more intuitive as I went along, that I started to recognize the difference between when I'd figured something out, when I'd got my big brain onto the job and sorted it out, or whether it just came to me and then I knew that was my intuition.
Yeah, you know, it's like a
feeling.
It's a very different feeling, and it's like a muscle. It takes practice. You know, none of us go to the gym and become, you know, super athletes overnight, but all of us have muscles. So too with whatever you want to call it, intuitive ability, psychic ability. All of us have that. So it's just a matter of exercising it. A question that I often get asked is, how do I develop my intuition? And I'd say to people, every one of us is intuitive, and every one of us receives intuitive messages. The thing is, a lot of us doubt it. A lot of us don't trust what we're receiving.